The mansion. The wind howled outside, rattling the old wooden shutters of the mansion. Emily stood at the foot of the grand entrance, staring up at the imposing building. The mansion had been abandoned for years, and the surrounding gardens had grown wild, overtaking the once manicured lawns. Emily hesitated for a moment before taking a deep breath and pushing open the front door. The inside of the mansion was dimly lit, and the air was thick with the musty scent of decay. The sound of her footsteps echoed throughout the empty halls. As she explored the ground floor, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The mansion seemed to have a life of its own, with the creaking of the floorboards and the occasional sound of a door slamming shut. She tried to shake off the feeling and continued her investigation, determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious disappearance of the family who had lived in the mansion. As she made her way to the upper levels, Emily noticed a locked door leading to the attic. She couldn't resist the urge to investigate further and searched for a key to unlock the door. After rummaging through a nearby desk, she found an old, rusted key and made her way back to the attic door. As she inserted the key and turned it, she couldn't shake off the feeling that something was watching her. The door creaked open, and Emily was met with the sight of a dusty, cobweb-covered room. The attic was full of old, forgotten belongings, but something caught Emily's eye. It was a small, intricately carved wooden box, hidden away in a dark corner of the room. Emily's curiosity got the better of her, and she reached for the box. As she lifted it from its hiding place, the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. She couldn't explain why, but the box seemed to emit a strange energy, one that she couldn't quite put her finger on. With a sense of foreboding, Emily opened the box, and a wave of dread washed over her. Inside was a single, small object, glowing with an otherworldly light. Emily couldn't explain what it was, but she knew that it was something powerful, something ancient. The mansion seemed to come alive around her, and Emily felt like she was being watched. She quickly placed the object back in the box and closed it shut. As she turned to leave, she noticed that the door was no longer locked. Emily felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that she was no longer alone. The mansion was alive, and it was waiting for her. The presence. Emily couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched as she made her way back down to the ground floor. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind, made her jump. She had the unsettling feeling that something was stalking her, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As she made her way through the hallways, Emily couldn't help but notice how the mansion seemed different now. The walls seemed to be closing in on her, and the darkness seemed to be alive, moving and shifting in ways that didn't make sense. As she entered the living room, Emily noticed a faint glow coming from the fireplace. As she approached, she realized that there was a small, flickering flame burning in the hearth. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. The mansion had been abandoned for years, and there was no way that the fire could have been lit on its own. As she stood there, transfixed by the flame, Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She couldn't shake off the feeling that something was watching her, and she knew that she wasn't alone in the room. Emily tried to leave, but the door was stuck, refusing to budge. She was trapped. Suddenly, Emily felt a cold, clammy hand grab her shoulder. She turned around, but there was no one there. She tried to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. Emily was paralyzed with fear. As the presence drew closer, Emily realized that she wasn't dealing with something human. It was something otherworldly, something ancient and powerful. The presence seemed to be feeding off her fear, growing stronger with every passing second. Emily closed her eyes and tried to gather her courage. She knew that she had to face the presence, no matter what. She turned around, ready to confront her fears, but the room was empty. The presence had vanished, leaving Emily alone once again. As Emily stumbled out of the living room, she realized that the mansion wasn't just abandoned, it was cursed. The ancient power that lived within its walls had taken control, and it wouldn't let anyone leave alive. Emily knew that she had to find a way out, or she would be trapped in the mansion forever. The curse unleashed. Emily stumbled through the dark, winding hallways, trying to find a way out of the cursed mansion. Every step felt like she was walking through molasses, as if the mansion was trying to keep her there forever. As she turned a corner, Emily saw something move in the shadows. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. Was it the presence, come back to finish what it started? But as the figure stepped into the light, Emily realized that it wasn't the presence at all. It was a woman, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, with a gaunt face and hollow eyes. The woman looked at Emily with an expression of sorrow and regret. "Who are you?" Emily asked, her voice trembling. The woman didn't answer. Instead, she reached out a bony hand and touched Emily's cheek. Emily felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that the woman was dead. "Please," the woman whispered. "You have to leave. The curse is too powerful. It will consume you." Emily tried to pull away, but the woman's grip was surprisingly strong. "What curse?" she asked, her voice rising in panic. "What's happening to me?" "The curse of the mansion," the woman said. "It feeds off the living, trapping them here forever. You have to break the curse, or you'll be trapped here, just like I am." Emily struggled to break free, but the woman's grip only tightened. Suddenly, Emily felt a sharp pain in her arm. She looked down and saw that the woman had sunk her teeth into her flesh, drawing blood. With a cry of pain, Emily managed to pull away and stumbled down the hallway, the woman's cackling laughter echoing in her ears. She knew that she had to find a way out, or she would be trapped in the mansion forever, just like the woman. As she rounded another corner, Emily saw a glimmer of light in the distance. She ran towards it, her heart racing with hope. Maybe it was a way out, a path to freedom. But as she got closer, Emily realized that it wasn't a way out at all. It was the presence, waiting for her with open arms. Emily tried to turn and run, but it was too late. The curse had taken hold, and Emily was trapped in the mansion. Trapped forever. Emily couldn't believe what had just happened. She had tried so hard to escape the cursed mansion, but it had finally claimed her. She was trapped there forever, just like the woman she had encountered earlier. Despair and hopelessness washed over her, and she sank to the ground, unable to stand. As she sat there, she heard the sound of footsteps approaching. She looked up and saw the presence standing before her, its eyes gleaming with malice. "You are mine now," the presence said, its voice deep and menacing. "You will be trapped here forever, feeding the curse and adding to its power." Emily tried to crawl away, but the presence grabbed her by the ankle and dragged her back. It lifted her up effortlessly, as if she weighed nothing, and held her aloft. "Your suffering will be a great source of pleasure for me," the presence said, its lips curling into a sickening grin. "You will never leave this place. You will be my prisoner forever." Emily screamed in terror, knowing that there was no escape. She had been defeated by the curse of the mansion, and now she was at the mercy of the presence. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, Emily became a mere shell of herself. She had given up all hope of escape, and the presence tormented her relentlessly. It would appear in her room at night, looming over her as she tried to sleep. It would whisper terrible things in her ear, reminding her of all the people she had lost and all the dreams she had abandoned. Emily knew that she was slowly losing her mind. She would talk to herself, hallucinating that her loved ones were still alive and that she was still living a normal life. But in reality, she was trapped in the cursed mansion, forever feeding the curse and adding to its power. She was the presence's prisoner, doomed to suffer for eternity. The final descent. Years had passed since Emily had been trapped in the cursed mansion. She had lost count of the time that had gone by, and she no longer knew how old she was. But something had changed. The presence that had haunted her for so long had grown weaker. Its visits became less frequent, and its voice became fainter. Emily realized that the curse was losing its power. Perhaps, after all this time, the curse had consumed all it could and was now dying out. She decided to take her chance and escape while she still could. She began to explore the mansion, searching for a way out. As she moved through the dark and musty halls, she saw that the mansion was falling apart. The walls were crumbling, and the floors were rotting away. It was as if the mansion itself was dying, and Emily knew that she needed to leave before it collapsed around her. Finally, she found a way out. A small window on the third floor was cracked open, letting in a sliver of light. Emily squeezed through the window and felt the cool air on her face. She was free. As she walked away from the mansion, she heard a faint whisper behind her. It was the presence, its voice barely audible. "You may have escaped, but you will never be free," it said. "I will always be with you, haunting you, reminding you of your time in the cursed mansion." Emily shuddered, but she didn't turn back. She knew that the presence was powerless now, and that she had finally broken free from its grasp. As she walked away from the cursed mansion, Emily knew that the memories of her time there would haunt her forever. But she also knew that she had survived, that she had beaten the curse. And that was a victory in itself. The return. Years had passed since Emily had escaped the cursed mansion. She had tried to move on with her life, to forget the horrors she had endured. But the memories lingered, haunting her every waking moment. She tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination, that the curse was truly broken. But then she started seeing things. Shadows moving in the corners of her vision, whispers in her ear when she was alone. She tried to ignore it, to push it away, but the fear had returned. The fear that the curse had never truly let her go. Emily decided to return to the mansion, to face her fears once and for all. She had to know if the curse was truly broken, or if it was just lying dormant, waiting for her return. As she approached the mansion, she felt a chill run down her spine. The mansion looked just as it had when she had escaped all those years ago. The walls were still crumbling, the floors still creaking with each step. Emily took a deep breath and stepped inside. As she moved through the dark halls, she heard the whispers again. She felt the presence once more, stronger than ever. Emily tried to run, to escape the curse once and for all, but it was too late. The presence had caught up to her, and there was no escaping it now. She screamed as she felt its cold touch on her skin, as she heard its voice in her ear. And then, just like that, it was gone. Emily was left alone in the cursed mansion, trapped once again. She knew now that the curse had never truly let her go, that it had been waiting for her return all along. And she knew that she would never escape its grasp again.